Alright guys, we are back. It's time for the semifinals. Six Sigma once again, this time facing off against Silver Elite, led by Sayo and Baxers, Panda Rage, Silent Archers, and Ymir. So a pretty good team lineup on that side. We saw them a little earlier on in the tournament, and they did pretty well back then, but now they're up against Six Sigma, who last game we saw take a pretty good victory over the Poppies.
These are two up-and-coming teams. These are two up-and-coming teams. And the most interesting thing about this is it's two returning players to Smite. Sayo and Fexes. And guess what? They were both on the same team, and they both left competitive Smite at the same time after that team. Now they're coming back on different teams, and they're both playing mid lane to face off against each other. I'm hyped because I'm going to see this matchup. It's not like a grudge match because I don't think they were left on evil terms with each other at all. They both just decided to step away, and now they're both back. It's like, well, I'm ready to play, and they're like, well, so am I. Let's go. Let's see how this works out.
Yeah, picks and bans right now flying through. Just to cover these, Thor, Bellona banned out by Six Sigma, Silver Elite taking, who was that? Neath and Sylvanas off the table, locking in that first pick Athena, as we're now actually already on the counter-banning phase, Hindu. They're just going crazy with these things.
It's gone really fast between the quick picks and bans. I think they all know what they really want. We've seen the double hunter come out from Silver Elite very, very quickly. Across the way, Six Sigma, they went for their Agni, Ymir, Athena combo. Once again, they're happy with those three picks. They're the safe picks for those people. You could see Deku was comfortable on Athena. Bulbasaur was very comfortable on Ymir in the jungle. And Fexes obviously loves his Agni. And now we're going to see Silver Elite because they've got Janus for Sayo. That's what he seems to be comfortable on. We saw it earlier on today. And now they've really got to pick up the Guardian here. And their jungler is the two they're probably looking for. And they're going to get the first pick of that, and they're hovering on the Bacchus.
And it does get locked in, so interesting order. Silver Elite showing their hand a little early. We don't often see the double hunter picked up before the counter betting phase, but they went that route. I think it's standard enough these days where it's not necessarily a bad choice to lock it in early because it leaves you some counter picks later on if you want to, just see, okay, what did they pick up? Okay, we'll pick something else instead. Rather than locking in a last pick hunter, it's like, well, we could have put anybody there, really.
I mean, the double hunter picking Apollo and Medusa, you get priority picks of what hunters you want. You can also get the chance to ban one away before they get to pick one. So it makes some sense to take the two hunters there. And Six Sigma, they're hovering on two hunters themselves, and they're going to lock them in Xbalanque and Ullr. The double hunter meta is here at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. And I've seen it fail, but in a double hunter versus double hunter matchup, well, it'll just be down to who plays it better generally and who's got the Guardians to support it. I don't like that Nemesis pick if Silver Elite go for it. This is always an issue with the Nemesis. I tend to feel in this meta she's good against the Guardians, but she has to get to that mid-late game or get fed early to really make it work.
And even then, once late game does arrive, she has that little bit of a barrier with that Retribution Shield, absorb some hits, heal a little bit back up, but late game, Hunters just hit so hard that trying to be up close and personal and dish out damage is not going to be an easy thing. Yeah, it's a big 40% health off the top, plus protection seals off like an Ymir Athena, which is huge, but afterwards, she's going to have a rough time actually being effective in the fights. They don't have that much lockdown. There's very little crowd control on the side of Silver Elite.
Yeah, it is. It's really going to be an interesting one to see how they play this one out. Because like you said, hard CC, if you look at Silver Elite, there's not actually that much hard CC. They've got the flop, they've got the portal, but that's really only the hard CC they've got. I guess the Belcher the Gods too, obviously, for that 1 second stun. And maybe Petrify Ultimate, which is a little bit more difficult to land, but if you get it in a big team fight, it could cause issues. Across the way, though, Six Sigma, pretty much relatively the same team comp they ran last time round, just different hunters in these roles. Let's see how these two play out, though, guys. This is a semi-final spot in week 3. The winner of this one will move on to the finals and give themselves a very, very good shot of qualifying for those 8 teams that make it to the group stages.
All right, guys, welcome back. It's time for the Six Sigma to face off against Silver Elite in this semifinal matchup for week 3 of the European Challenger Cup. We talked about during picks and bans. We talked about it a bit last game. Fexes and Sayo back to competitive Smite, facing off against each other.
Yep. We're going to see how they're going to do for themselves on Janus versus Agni. Agni definitely has the matchup against the Janus in the mid lane in the early stages as well. But the rest of the team as well, let's have a little check-in with that. We're going to see Mr. Crunchy up against Bacchus. Bacchus is on that Apollo. It's not really a good matchup against an Ullr, honestly, in this 1v1 scenario. Death's Toll, though, on the Apollo, he's going to have a little bit more damage, but the burst potential definitely on Mr. Crunchy's side, and the wave clear is on his side too. But we saw in the jungle on this Ymir, once again, going to be going for that power pot start one more time. I don't see any early invasions coming out because it's Hunter and Jungler once again. And the dual lane, Xbalanque and Athena should have pretty good wave clear, as do Medusa and Bacchus, so I feel that one's kind of tentatively even between the two.
Yeah. One thing I do like is that Death's Toll pickup on the Apollo. It's a little bit of sustain in that lane. Yeah, Death Soul, it's a decent chunk of mana as well, but more importantly, it is that extra bit of health. He's going to have it. Mr. Crunch with that Ullr is going to be able to look for poke and harass, whereas Apollo, he's not going to have it, but every time he shoots an attack and it hits, it's 6 extra health for himself, so it'll help out overall, help him not get forced out of lane too early by Mr. Crunchy.
Well, Ymir's taking a lot of poke. He's just used Flop to clear the wave, and he's going to go down for first blood here, unless Lacerate can save the day, which it doesn't from Panda Rage. Ymir does go down after that flop, which was, unfortunately, he didn't clear the wave out, and the minions started poking him, as did both the dual lane of Six Sigma. They find first blood after a small mistake.
That double portal mid lane, nothing really to capitalize on the back of that one. However, left side, Panda Rage, they were looking for the taunt, Deacon Scrub, saving that one, keeping in reserves as Lacerate was used but from Panda Rage to escape back to safety of his tower. He's going to lose a little bit of gold to the tower, but he's going to be able to soak that experience nevertheless. Back Harpy invade rather, coming from Six Sigma. Counter invade by Silver Elite, so kind of just trading 1 for 1 in that regard.
Yeah, the only difference is, though, is that we're going to actually see his Nemesis is going to lose a little bit of experience because that mid-Harpy wave is going to go down, those mid-farms are going to go down for the most part, and he actually only got 2 or 3 creeps out of that instead of the whole wave like he would do. They're rotating hard right, though, and looking for a player to Mr. Crunchy, who's not aware. He will be in a second.
He has the Glare Bound available. Saya waiting nearby, though. Good stun! Mr. Crunchy actually looking like he might survive it, and will. The
portal was needed.
Yeah, they didn't go for it.
If they had the portal available, the portal into the stable would have confirmed the kill for themselves. They don't find it, and instead Saya's going to have to base here. He's a bit low on the mana side, but he's going to miss a whole wave of experience in mid lane here. And it looks like Nemesis is going to get zoned off it too, so Silver Elite going to struggle a little bit against Six Sigma. This early game is definitely theirs.
Yeah, Silver Elite, they could have gotten much more off the back of that play if they caught that kill. But like you said, that wave of experience and gold being denied is going to put Mr. Crunchy in the decent bit, Bacchus in a better spot in that right lane on that Apollo. We'll be able to more readily deal with that little bit of an extra scaling lead once he hits 5, a little bit ahead. Panda Rage left lane still not going back, trying to hold on until he has the gold for the Heartseeker to complete it. But his helper solo of Deacon Script and Land Taunt will probably result in his death, and he's going for it right now. The taunt is good. Vote MBK looking for it. The poison's good. We'll find it.
Poison is good, and that will secure the kill from, again, Vote MBK. Six Sigma's dual lane doing work at the moment up against this. I said it was tentatively even between these two, but because obviously Medusa's wave clear very, very good, as is Xbalanque's. They both got about the same amount of wave clear with that acid spray up against the poison darts and the Ebola virus. But Bacchus not having as much of an effect in this lane as he would like to. Ymir seems to be struggling a little bit. The dual lane is up against it now after the 3-minute Harpies. They did get split though, which is a good thing for Silver Elite.
Yep, it'll keep those things at least up. It'll keep the gold rate from growing anymore in favor of Six Sigma for now, at least. Right side, we also saw Bacchus and Mr. Crunchy kind of boxing back and forth. Both still doing okay. Bacchus actually, that Death Soul paying off pretty well so far. He's still sitting about half health. A little cheeky backstopping from Mr. Crunchy. He could look for another one here. Just say there, no, Bacchus is going to dodge out of that one. And I was going to stick around for another wave of farm, so Mr. Crunchy going to stop that back, keep that Heartseeker from coming online for a little longer. Mid lane, though, Portal will save Saya.
He had to use beads as well, though, because the freeze came in, so 180 seconds without those beads. And look at this call here. It looks like Six Sigma want to try and catch Panda Rage, who's overextended here. Lacerate's good to get him out, but there's the darkest of nights, and it's the deadest of... No, it's not the deadest of Panda Rages, because he does escape before they can get the stun off. They're swinging around this jungle the whole time here, looking for a pick. I'm surprised they don't go for Gold Fury with this Ymir.
It's a real possibility, to be honest. If nothing else, they're looking for these fights constantly, but they're not necessarily looking for a full-on team fight right now, which a Gold Fury would trigger, because they're missing suddenly. They've been everywhere. Where'd they all go? Well, clearly it has to be the Gold Fury at this point in the game. Friend Olympus coming in towards that left lane right now. They might have been thinking about diving, but not going for it in the end. Vote MBK diving this early. It could have ended up being a 1-for-1 trade.
That was communications more than anything. If Deku would have actually called that he was coming in, Vote MBK would have dived the tower for the kill there, which would have been a confirmed kill with Deku landing. If not on him, he would have got the taunt afterwards for the enhance to connect. So just a little bit of comms issue there. It's only a small thing though, and even though they dropped the kill, they're still going to reward themselves with a jolly good purple buff from the enemy jungle as Sayo turns up and puts a little bit of poke out. He needs to watch himself with no beads, and now he's got no walls to go to either. Space and time. Nope, fall for the wall. Saves the day.
Silver Elite, led by Sayo, team full of escape artists so far today. They've not had the greatest of luck, a couple times getting picked off, but for the most part, have been able to escape with health bars barely intact. And I'm looking at the ward map right now, the ward's place as well. Six Sigma, as heavily invading they are, I really want to see more wards coming out from Silver Elite just to keep tabs exactly where they are. It's like, okay, they're all on the left side jungle, we can safely farm here, here, here. You guys don't have to worry about it. With the relative lack of vision right now, they're really having to just play defensively, hug their towers, and they really can't look for too much.
I mean, as it stands as well right now, between these two teams, they're both... The one thing Silver really have is they can wait till later game and hope to hold until then. The problem is, though, is they're going against a double hunter composition as well in Medusa and Apollo. And honestly, on paper, Medusa and Apollo is stronger than Xbalanque and Ullr. Because Apollo's more of a hyper carry than an Ullr is. Ullr is a consistent god throughout the whole game. I just wouldn't class him as a hyper carry in the later stages, like the likes of Apollo, with his amount of damage he can put out, as well as his attack speed buff, thanks to his passive.
At the same time, though, that Xbalanque coming out, that permanently active physical power if he gets those kills, which he has 2 of already, plus the AoE damage from the bolas, is going to make him an absolute monster late game. And then another big factor is going to be that crowd control. Ymir and Athena compared to a Bacchus Nemesis, there's really no question who has the better frontline composition between those two.
Well, left harpies do go to Six Sigma, right ones. Bulbasaur is in position for those two, so the experience and gold lead slowly continues to extend for Six Sigma as Deku soaks up experience off X's in mid lane once again. And everyone's just sat back relaxing. Taunt in mid lane now onto Sayo again, forcing out some nastiness. Actually forced through space and time from Sayo then, so that's going to be on cooldown. Keep an eye on Bulbasaur. He might go for a blink combo if Sayo steps forward. Left side.
Yeah, a little back and forth. Panda Rage will survive once again. Beads did just come online for Sayo as well, so he's not necessarily down and out. He will have those available, but it is still tier 1. It will be another 3-minute cooldown if he's forced to use it. Up against a, I don't know, blink yet on Ymir, so we just, I'm going to walk up to your face and freeze you, so at least from Ymir, not too much to worry about for Sayo, but that Athena preemptive strike taunt can still be pretty surprising.
Good taunt from Deku Scrub. Going to get some nice damage onto Panda Rage and force the lacerate away. Even in the face of silent archers, he couldn't do much. In the jungle, though, so it's going to be Fexes trading off against Apollo there a little bit in that mid lane as Bacchus rotates. Good shout out to Bacchus here. He's in a matchup against the Ullr, and he's actually up on experience and gold in this lane. He has just rotated mid as well, though, but he's done a good job of keeping his lane consistently, even considering he's not in a favorable matchup.
Yeah, that Death Soul for a little bit of extra health, plus that one rotation earlier, giving Bacchus that extra wave of experience helped out a whole lot for him. He's kind of stabilized right now, a little back and forth damage Pokemon there. Stun will not connect onto him. He'll be able to safely clear out the rest of this wave. He does have Minion Aggro right now, so he's taking a bit of extra poke he may not otherwise want to take.
Yeah, these double hunters are going to be interesting to see how long these actually stay in the meta for, because it's not necessarily something I think will last forever. 1 or 2 gods will start to see a rise once again, but Gold Fury is being looked at right now by Six Sigma, and they've got a good position to start this, but Bacchus is ready.
Yep, Intoxicate just did a whole lot of work. Enemy's going to pick up one as well as a second member falling.
They do get the Gold Fury. MBK's trying to bring down Enemy on the backside, but he's not going to find it. He will find Silver Archers, though, as Vex says, confirms it with a bomb, rather. There's a nice Petrify coming out from Panda Rage and damage from the Acid Spray, plus Sayo with the Unstable Vortex will bring him down. Vex says doesn't manage to find the trade back, though, thanks to Lacerate coming out. And that is all the hard work of Six Sigma. God.
One brief 20-second long engagement by the Gold Fury. Experience is back to dead even. Gold's ever so slightly in favor of Silver Elite. Mr. Crunchy answered back with the tower, so Gold just shot back to even as well. We're back to a dead even game. 9 minutes in. 3 kills on the board. Gold is even. Experience is even. And it's all back to see who can get these next little advantages. Buffs are about to be up. Mid Harpy's about to be up. I don't necessarily know at this point, though, if they'll really look to fight over Mid Harpies anymore.
I mean, realistically, everyone's being even. It's not a bad situation to either give them up or not. You can lose a little bit more again. Silver Elite made a really good decision there, engaging the Gold Fury well. Ymir, who's been very, very far behind in this game, actually paid off big in that engagement. That belly flop Intoxicate was huge, and his team cleaned up nicely with the support of Sayo and Panda Rage there too, to actually secure that for him. Harpies on the left are up, and Six Sigma are going to get them, or maybe they won't, because there's a quick pause from Bacchus coming out here. So let's talk about itemization here, Simon.
Yeah. One thing that stood out is the Reinforced Grease pickup by Bacchus. Given the team he's up against, that 30% crowd control reduction is going to absolutely be huge. There's so much stun coming out from everybody. The AoE stun from Agni, the Axe stun from Ullr, the Frost Breath, the Taunt, Xbalanque, and maybe the Darks of the Nights will come into play. Maybe, just happen to be moving in the middle of a fight. Sometimes it happens. There's a lot of crowd control he's going to want to have to deal with, and apparently I'm losing my voice.
You are indeed losing your voice, as is someone's connection, more than likely, if this pause is going on this long. Maybe it's a tactical one. We'll find out soon. But you can also see Along the way, you're going to see Sai working on the Chronos Pendant to get his cooldown reduction build on Fexes. Gone for the standard sort of build we saw out of the old Agni plays, which I still think is the best build at the moment, with Tiny Trinket online to start with, into full boots, and then working on the Spear of the Magus as well for that extra penetration. It works so well with Agni because of his passive and the dot damage you can apply to increase those stacks from that spear, and also the penetration is fantastic for those bombs down too. Across the way though, Athena is still working on the sovereignty along with Ymir, also working on that on the Bacchus too. A bit of a differential in terms of boots there. You're going to see the reinforced greaves, which kind of makes sense on Ymir, as he's not had the easiest start to the game, being picked up earlier, went for the tankier option, which is quite smart.
Yeah. Right before that gold frame came, or actually, the gold frame was started up again, or for the first time, whatever happened. You mentioned the double hunter meta and how long you were wondering it was going to stick around. Do you think it's just a simple matter of people like rediscovering assassins, which are pretty much never played these days, or is it going to require maybe a little more, maybe some balancing from items, or maybe look at Heartseeker, maybe some we have Radisker coming out very shortly. People are going to be looking to pick him up in the future. Alpoish is coming out very soon as well for competitive play. So there's some new gods coming in. Do you see Alpoish maybe even being a game changer? A lot of combo burst damage from him.
I mean, Alpoish, I'm not so sure. We'll see when he comes out. At the moment, he's very, very strong, and I think he'll be ban-worthy for every game, which means someone's going to get released from the ban-worthy list, as it were, because that always seems to happen. Somebody trades off for the new god coming out, at least in competitive play. But I mean, with Hunters right now and how they stand, people are slowly going to start realizing that some attack speed debuffing gods are going to come back into the meta and be stronger. Kumbhakana, an example, which is starting to surface at the moment. The likes of Kronos can be quite effective against some of these Hunters too, which I think we may start seeing more Kronos play going forward. We started to see that in the Pro League in the last couple of games too. On top of that, you've then got items that have been fallen to the wayside that can be very, very effective against Hunters, such as you said, the Witchblade. It's still an effective item. It's still good value for money. It's just that it's not got the mobility on it anymore. Yeah. Another god to touch on as well, Osiris. Osiris, very, very good against Hunters in general. He gets natural physical protections plus the tether. He can really cause some issues for these Hunters, especially when they go for these damaging builds where they rely on Assy when they get low on HP, and Lord of the Afterlife will deny that sustain.
Yeah. Osiris is another one of those guys as well. He received quite a few nerfs over the course of his existence in Smite, and a lot of people's like, he got nerfed, let's not play him. And it's like a month later, it's like, oh, he's still pretty good. People play him for a little bit, and he gets nerfed again. People stop playing him. Cycle kind of repeats itself over and over. I believe it was Divios at the spring finals actually ended up pulling it out kind of out of nowhere, and it's like everyone was saying, it's like, why did he just pull out Osiris? And it actually worked really well in that solo lane still. So definitely an option, like you said, very effective against these Hunters in many cases. So it's definitely something that'll be interesting. I believe Weekend on one of the SPL games recently in the post-game interviews was talking about, they asked him how he felt about it. He's like, he's not worried about it. They're starting to work around it. They're starting to deal with it. He's also very still, he pulls out the Arachne, he pulls out the Thanatos constantly. So he's playing those assassins. And from his perspective, at least, AFK Gaming is not worried about this double Hunter composition because they think they have the solution to it already.
Exactly. I mean, Thanatos is one of those as well that could come back as well. I mean, it can be effective. We'll see how it works out going forward, though. People will find the strategy for this. I just hope people don't overreact and they get nerfed hard on Hunters all of a sudden because everyone's playing them. And then just as they get nerfed is the moment that everybody's worked out how to deal with it, and we go back to a different meta of maybe, I don't know, Guardians only in the solo lane? No, we were already 17 in that. Let's just go back to Mages solo. Let's do that. Double Mage comps.
We haven't seen those guys in a while. I think we saw
Agni gets done
last week
off in mid lane onto Sayo. Bit of poke damage down to 2/3 HP from just 2 bombs there in that mid lane. Right inside though, an engagement looking for Bacchus. He's in a bit of trouble here.
Darks of Knights pop across the skies, trying to get up, and will do so successfully. No bleed damage to finish him up while he's up, flying through the air on his chariot. He'll drop down, pick himself up some back harpies, as well as a little bit of life steal. He'll be going back to base though to heal his health bar back up to full. So the game does continue once again. We're about 11 minutes into this one. Game is pretty much dead even. You can see that on the graph. You can see that on the kill count at the top of your screen. It's Silver Elite facing off against Six Sigma. Sayo versus Fexes, the kind of premier mid lane matchup in this one. Both teams, they used to play with each other. Now they're playing directly against each other, posing in the same lane for that matter.
Yeah, I mean, Sayo's doing a really good job though. 1-0 and 2 right now. Has a small gold lead over Fexes as well, which is good for him in general. In that matchup between the two, I mean, obviously they're both good players. They've both played on decent teams. And some of these other players are all-stars or been known as all-stars in the solo queue rankings. Bacchus, for example, very high Masters player, able to play multiple roles and play them very efficiently. So him on the side of Silver Elite. Their squad's looking pretty good. And obviously new faces all the time coming through and entering into the world of competitive Smite.
Yep, for now, not much else going on the map right now, just some farm going on. Gold Fury, a minute and a half out. That will likely be a big point of contention in a very short while. For now, I don't the way this game has gone, Six Sigma were roaming around earlier on, just big grouping, constantly looking for picks and kills. But after that Gold Fury, it seems like, that didn't go how we planned. You know, maybe taking a step back, like reevaluate what we're doing. I don't say necessarily became scared, but realized, if we keep doing what we're doing, they now have vision established more likely than not. We're going to be the ones getting picked off for roaming around the jungle like that. So let's just wait, keep farming up, keep things even. We have the team fights. We have the Athena. We have that Ymir. We have all this lockdown. Once that Gold Fury comes up, we can just look to fight them. They do, but I think the whole thing of what happened there was crap, is what I want to say. Oh, crap. We messed up. Oh, Bacchus versus Mr. Crunchy on the right. Bacchus, Mr. Crunchy getting zoned off experience. That Bacchus is doing a good job as enough. But that fight really messed with Six Sigma's head, I think. Absolutely. Their communication seems to have slacked a little bit. I can't hear the communication, but I can just tell it has. By how they've just started to be a bit more passive all of a sudden. They're not happy that they've just got demoralized by that Gold Fury steal coming out from Silver Elite. And the fact that all the work that they put in early game hasn't worked out for them. Now they've got to reset and start all over again and start building this lead. And taking these Harpies time and time again is a good way of doing that. Yeah, they're doing a good job. Nemesis did sneak in that second one on the right-hand side. But other than that, not really much going on. Gold Fury now respawning, so you're swooping on down into that pit. She'll be ready in just a moment. Silver Elite nearby, just going to be dropping a ward for the moment. Right side, Baxter's in a bit of a bad spot. Bulbasaur is looking for a Blink Frost Breath. Gonna connect, if not for the Across the Skies crouch immunity. He's once again going to fly off, and look where he is going. It's straight to that goal. Well, maybe not. Gold Fury, maybe. There we go. Gonna land on in and start this up. But Six Sigma knows what's going on, and they are on the rotation. Just the mere rotation and the knowledge that they're heading over there forced the reset. Agni's just one of those guys you don't want to go against when you have to group up as a team and try and juggle aggro or tank it up. You stand still, you get 3 bombs on your head, and you've already lost at least 50% of your HP. And that's if you're a Guardian. If you're a Squishy, you're generally dead or having to base very, very quickly. On top of the Gold Fury hitting here, and now it's going to actually be Six Sigma who start this one up. Yep, they have the fight advantage right now. The big tanky crowd control setup Guardians, Athena and Ymir. Agni going to drop actually most of his bombs down. Good Petrify coming in, did catch a few for damage and the stun, but they were not able to find that follow-up fight. Bacchus was still on his way back from base, so he had no Across the Skies. That's, I don't want to say free necessarily, but Six Sigma found the Gold Fury, got their first one of the game, and the gold just jumped a little bit into their favor. It was pretty much free, but look at the gold, like he said, look at the gold next to his Taunt in mid lane from Deku. Gonna find Bax's though. A lot of aggression onto him. The damage is good, but he does get out of dodge with the moves through space and time. Does come through from Sile. Doesn't really do anything else. But Bax's lives there. And that's going to be the call for the disengage pretty much from both sides. But going back to the experience in gold there, Simon, you can see what the chart was originally before that original Gold Fury. And now look at it. It's not even halfway back up to where it was. Now we'll see if that's kind of like, okay guys, we're back in this, we're back where we were, we can start looking at this aggression once again. I don't know. Six Sigma, if they delay the game out, they don't have a bad late game team comp in the slightest. Silver Elite are the ones I'd be expecting more early game aggression and pressure coming out of, because we've touched on a couple times. I don't see the team fights late game going Silver Elite's way. Yeah, they can shred protections off one of those Guardians with Nemesis' ultimate. They still have either then Athena or Ymir still being a huge, massive, tanky frontline Guardian, spewing out crowd control all over the place. So it's going to be scary if late game for Silver Elite. They're going to have to really, really be precise with taking out those hunters later on. And Fexus especially, last game we saw him top of the damage chart. Not there quite yet, but we haven't really seen too much fighting going on, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him shoot up the chart as well. Yeah, but both the hunters of Six Sigma are the ones with the highest damage right now, and they're doing actually pretty good work considering. I mean, Mr. Crunchy doing good work on that ult to be second, and obviously Vote MBK doing well for himself in this lane, 2-1-1, so a couple of stacks on that passive gives him a little bit more power. Harpies in mid are available though, Bulbasaur blinks in mid, forcing Sire once again to use those beads as Fexus rains down some death of fire upon them, and the left Harpies will be up at any moment. Yep, and it's going to be Six Sigma in position for those. They've been looking for these picks on the side to force out the beats and through space and times to prevent that crowd control immunity, but Six Sigma really just haven't been there for the follow-up. We got rid of beads. We'll come back in 2 minutes when they're already back up and we get rid of beads again. They're not really able to find these follow-up ganks when all the crowd control removal is down and off the table that would actually ensure these kills.
Exactly. That's the big thing is if they can actually secure the kills with the crowd control, if the crowd control is not available anymore, that's when I think Silver Elite could come back into this. They're doing a good job so far of holding on, but Deku in mid lane going for the taunt, gets portaled immediately. Luckily he doesn't get stunned by the belch coming out from Bacchus there, otherwise it could have been a problem for him under that tower. But for now, it's all about Silver Elite buying time for the jungler, Silent Archer, to get some.
Yeah, left side back and forth. VoteMK was winning that duel until Panda Rage threw a couple abilities his way. Dark Knights was used. VoteMK was thinking about securing the kill. He's now running for his life as the rotation was coming in. Defender of Olympus was just forced. That will bring Deku Script to the fight, but just kind of like watching Silver Elite kind of run off into the sunset there.
Just managed to get away and just disengage once again. I mean, at the moment, it's kind of a, not necessarily stagnant game, but a very cagey game by both these two teams, because I think they both realize it's not as easy as the first both thought it would be to have to deal with. But Silver Elite, they need to wait for Silent Archers to get himself going. He's going to get hit by that Frost into a nice burst damage coming out from him there. Very wise of him. He was very safe and not to use the beads. I'm quite surprised he didn't choose to do so. It was a very decision-making play to make sure he didn't waste the beads.
Yeah, Fexus only had 2 bombs on his head. I don't know if it would have kill potential. They're looking for it once again. Sayo going to be forced out. He's moving around. Beads were forced out once again. Double portal connects, but the follow-up damage again not there. It's an Ymir and Athena caught in that. They'll take a bit of damage, but otherwise survive. It's kind of interesting. Fexus, Nemesis, I think, was safe there, period. Even if Fexus had dropped down those 2 bombs he had, I don't think it would have been low enough because he had the Retribution Shield up. A lot of that would have been healed up. It would have reflected and absorbed.
Taunt hits Archers, and there's the beads being forced. Bacchus gets dropped below half health. Mr. Crunchy rotates over as well. They're going to try and force down this tier 1 tower in mid, but that portal will buy them a second from Sayo, which means this engagement is all but over. And that does give Bacchus a little bit of time in that right lane to find that tower. Sayo's in trouble.
Mid lane, Deku Scrub gets pick on Sayo. As Silent Archer says, I want nothing more to do with this. Swift vengeances her way back to safety at the tier 1. So 6 Sigma find themselves another kill. They have a slowly but surely growing gold lead. Tier 1 tower, a tiny little dip on that one. But tier 1 tower, mid lane, just got answered back. So overall across the map, 6 Sigma come out victorious.
You know, my favorite thing is about this meta right now with these double hunters, we actually get to see hunter duels. They happen more often because of it. It's very rare that you see them in the dual lane, but in the solo you will. The axe does miss from Mr. Crunchy there. He's eating all those finger bangs coming out from Bax's, and he's going to have to back away from that engagement and hope for a rotation, which is coming from Bulbasaur, but blue buff's up, and if Baxter sees him back there, he may go over for that. But he's going to try and force his tower down. Risky business, Sunshine.
He's safe.
He gets away with it.
He's saved. Able to just dodge behind Bulbasaur before the Frost Breath came in. So that will buy him time to push this wave. Left side, Goldfear has respawned. 6 Sigma picking up those left side Harpy cams. VoteMK, Petrify not connecting. Defender Olympus dropping in as well. And it will be there. Sylvie Deku Scrub looks for the taunt and finds out the Silent Archer's damage. Bomb from Fexus says, hello, kill count on the board.
Coming. Because Sayo make anything happen here is the question. He's going to dive the tower with a blink, looking for the kill to VoteMK. Not enough damage in the unstable vortex. Will escape for a pull, but guess who's waiting in the wings? It's Bulbasaur. He's going to force the beads on Sayo, but the explosion of I Go Boom is enough to bring him down. Sayo sacrificed himself, looking to make a play. Didn't work out for him. At the same time, Bax's went down against Mr. Crunchy on that right side.
Yeah, we saw some over-aggression perhaps coming out from him, looking for to just tank up some tower shots. So that fight didn't go up. Panda Rage just got caught by the wall. No crowd control to lock him down. Just because his Vex is looking for the chase, the stun is good. Flame Wave finds damage. He's going to be able to get out free and clear. They've delayed the Gold Fury, but with all 5 members now grouping up from 6 Sigma, Ymir can still look to burst it down, but it's going to be a little bit tricky. You see Bulbasaur immediately turning tail to stun him and try and stop him from getting in, as the Gold Fury will be secured by 6 Sigma. Now can Ymir get back out? They're not going to give chase. He's okay. He's good. He's good.
I mean, the scariest thing is that you actually see between these two teams right now is that Silver Elite, they lack CC, is the big key. They've got Belly Flop, they've got Belch, they've got Paul. What else is really hard CC? Well, Mez from Bax's, yeah, but if you hit them, they get unmezzed. Yeah. And you've got the Petrify coming out from Panda Rage on that Medusa. But landing that and making sure it actually hits for the hard CC is quite difficult because it's very predictable, because obviously you get that wind-up time for it. So 6 Sigma are actually playing to their real strength here of that amount of CC they've got, which is actually really starting to pay off for them, because one guy goes in, forces beads, forces their escapes, then the next guy goes in and does the CC chain again. And this is why they went for those 3 picks of Agni, Ymir, and Athena.
Random question. Can you actually cast Petrify, pop through a portal, and use the Petrify for the final hit on the other side of it?
Not 100% certain, but generally, if you get immunity frames, you can't go through portals
Okay.
while you're immune. It's the same as like you can't beads and go through
Okay.
portals. So,
Makes sense.
yeah, you've got to make sure if you've got immunity frames, you can't travel to the portals. Otherwise, that'd be amazing. Because all I ever wanted to do is, when I heard about Janus, I wanted to use no escape and jump through a portal. That's what my game plan was. Take them on a merry adventure. Portal back to my fountain. Get Janus to send a portal back to the fountain and stay through space and time. And then pull them all back to the fountain with no escape.
I have seen some pretty crazy pulls. You can pull Athena with no escape after she's defended Olympus across the map. It will yank her from literally the entire length of the map if that's how it is set up. So that's still some crazy stuff. Right side, Deacon Scrub overstaying his welcome a little bit. They're trying to save his life right now. The bomb's coming down from Bacchus trying to find this kill. Archers though on the bad end of this one. Crunchy finds Bacchus right side.
He does, and Fexes does bring down Silent Archer, and now you're going to see Bulbasaur trying to put some more aggression on with Mr. Crunchy diving in there. That belly flop will stop the axe hitting Sile for a moment, but maybe it's Bacchus who's the one that's going to be in trouble now, because no belly flop available means nowhere to go for the drunk man himself. And a killing spree for Mr. Crunchy's on, and that could be a call for a fire giant.
There's some pings right side of the map telling him, get the hell out of there. There's stuff going on elsewhere. As we see Six Sigma, in fact, starting this fire giant up. There is nobody even on the way. They're going to pick this one up free and clear. That's a lot of extra stats, regen, and damage to towers and phoenixes on the table for these guys. This tier 2 is it's dead. It doesn't know it yet, but it's dead.
Well, we're going to walk up to it right now. Deku Scrub's going to tank it up. He is the frontline tank with Amulet and Sovereignty finished online for himself as well. The tower will fall, and they'll rotate straight away for this right-hand side for the tier 2 there again. And I expect them to just bleed out these towers and collect their golden base.
Yeah. They're currently sitting on just about 2,000 in the case of Vote MBK. Everyone else a little bit between 1,000 or so and 2,000. As these towers fall, though, it's just going to keep growing and growing. The back's getting called for right now. Almost perfectly synchronized. Ymir could potentially look to interrupt Vote MBK, split second behind, but the recall comes out before he's able to get in range. He's going to pick up some minions in this right-hand lane instead. As you see, those items are getting picked up across the board right now. They're going to be, they were forced to be reckoned with in these last couple little fights. These next few. The tier 1 tower, probably going to be free. Tier 2, they might look to defend it, but Six Sigma, that front line is already really, really tanky.
I mean, Six Sigma for the past 2 weeks, they got themselves 20 points out of those last 2 weeks. Last week, they did beat the Broncos, who are a favourable team, which I don't believe we've got in this competition this week. But the Broncos were a well-known team, actually got themselves through, and Six Sigma stepped it up, but then couldn't get past the later rounds after beating the Broncos. But this week, they could be heading their way to the finals. Now this Fire Giants Online Deku going to go in, force the Portal and Sayo, who actually beads as well, then that's an important beads pickup for just a dash.
Yeah. We were talking about the Six Sigma last week as well. A lot of that just does come down to the way this bracket is in EU. There's so many strong teams that there have been upsets every single week so far. Even in NA, has been a handful. So it's not just guys, Six Sigma's getting lucky this week. It's just they're going up against strong opponents early on, just getting knocked out early because of it. Phoenix fight on left side. Toxic drop
is used, and there's the ultimate coming out from Bulbasaur. He's going to do decent damage to Silent Archers as Panda Rage falls. Ymir is going to be the next casualty of war as Vote NBK brings him down. They're going to just rotate mid. Deku going to tank this one up again. Surrender Vote has begun for Silver Elite. They believe it's the beginning of the end. Bacchus is on the backside though with the finger bangs trying to do what he can, but while that's happening, the rest of his team disappear.
Yep, getting picked off one by one. Sayo using the portal to the right-hand lane. Not much for them to find over there as a Titan is finally being aggressed. 50% health, and it is dropping so rapidly. They're not even going to have time to go back to base if they were thinking about defending any further. Six Sigma will take a victory over Silver Elite, making their first appearance here in the EU Challenger Cup. I think we saw a couple of the players on other teams prior, but new team lineup, they made a pretty good showing overall so far.
They did make a very good showing for themselves today. Great work from Silver Elite to get themselves through to the semi-finals in their first week of competition. But Six Sigma, they've been here for 2 weeks so far, and they've not looked so bad with what they've done today. Let's see what they can do in the finals, because the opposition in the finals is a very, very stable composition of the spicy waffles.
Well, that's up next, guys. We'll be back with that one in just a few, so stick around. We'll see you in a bit.